Hi, so this lesson is on 8.8 Rainy Day. It's a practice understanding task. So let's go ahead and get started. If it rains at the state fair, the vendors and games can have a hard time making profit. At the turkey leg booth, the profit of a typical day can be modeled by the function P of t equals negative 0.065 t squared plus 29.25 t minus 1300. Where P of t is the profit in dollars and t is the number of turkey legs sold. So what they're wanting us to do in here is to interpret what each piece represents, what kind of function is this, etc., and then we're going to find some information out. So the very first thing that we're going to do is, let me see if I can scroll, is we're going to decide what kind of function is this. So when it's in this form where you have your a squared plus b plus bx plus c, that's going to be called your standard form. And what's nice about standard form is it gives away two pieces of information. The first thing it gives away is your y-intercept, which is your c value. Whoops. So your c value. And then the second thing it gives away is the direction of the parabola. So is this a positive parabola or a negative parabola? In this case, because my a is negative, so my a value, if it's a positive a value, it's going to go in the upwards direction, kind of like a little smiley face. And if it's a negative a value, it's going to go in the downwards direction, like a little frowny face. So then number 2 says, what does the negative 1300 mean in context of this problem? Well, that is our y-intercept. So if we look back at our function, the negative 13 is our y-intercept. So 0 / negative 1300, excuse me, not negative 13, 1300. So what that means is the 0 turkey legs sold. So if I sell no turkey legs, I'm going to be in debt $1,300. So it's a loss of profit. Okay. All right, number 3 says using your graphing calculator, list a few values for the number of turkey legs that will make the profit. So it makes profit, but it will not make profit as well. So they want us looking at 2 different things, and then how can we summarize our findings? So let's kind of make like an idea of what the graph will probably look like. So we already know that if I sell 0 turkey legs, I'm going to be in debt $1,300. So then it's probably going to come up around here, and then it'll start fading down again. And the reason why it's going to start fading down, because most people are like, well, if you're making more turkey legs, you're going to make more profit. But the longer your vendor is open, the more materials you need, the more you need to pay your staff, you could potentially start actually losing money. So that's why it starts decreasing, because you there's a happy medium to a certain amount of turkey legs that will make you the best profit. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up my calculator, and we're going to take a look at the graph to see what that looks like for this scenario. And if I go to my y equals, I went ahead and typed it in just because this was a little bit of a longer function for me to type in. So there's my negative 0.65x squared plus 29.25x minus 1300. I went ahead and changed my window. So my window, I was thinking of turkey legs, like, all right, I can't sell negative turkey legs, but I can at least go backwards so I can see that part of the graph. I went ahead and just made my turkey legs like 500. Like, what if I sell 500 turkey legs? What's going to happen? Then my y minimum, I chose negative 1,500 because my lowest is negative 1,300. So I wanted to be able to see my graph. So I went a little lower than 1,300. And then I was thinking, okay, let me go the opposite direction. I don't know what my profit's going to be, but let me try 3,000. So I was just kind of playing around with the window. And then once I got my numbers, I was able to actually see my graph. So when I press graph, you should be able to see the whole thing. And then there's the picture of my parabola. So if you look down here, that's the negative 1,300. So if we only sell this section in here, we're still going to be in the hole. It's this number right here is where we kind of reach. It's called your breaking point or your break-even point, where you are making the money back that you spent on supplies and renting the space, etc. This is where you start making your most money. Right here is that sweet spot where if I sell this many, I'm going to make my max profit. Then if I start selling too many, because I'm having to buy more supplies, rent the place out for longer, and have my employees and pay them, this is actually when I start losing money. So we're going to take a look at that information. So we're going to go to our table because it wants some information of when will we be losing. So I'm going to do second graph. So here is all my functions. I'm going to start back at 0. And a way that you can jump to zeros, if you go to table set, so second table set, see how it's at number 167. I can just change that to 0 to start back at 0. So second table, and see now it jumped back down to 0 turkey legs. So there's my negative $1,300 in debt. As you can see, all these I'm still in debt, but I'm getting closer and closer to making money. So let's just keep going. So all those numbers, all those turkey legs right there is when I'm still not making money. And then right there at 50, that's when I actually start making money, right? So when will I lose money is anywhere between 0 to 49 turkey legs, right? But I also can start losing money if I go after. So let's take a look there. So then if I keep going, so here I'm making money, making lots of money, keep making money. I'm making lots of money. Here we go. Keeps going up, keeps going up. And then I'm going to reach a point where it's going to turn back around, right? So it looks like I'm still going up. I'm at 1956. And then I reach 1990. And then now I go back down. So I reach kind of that sweet spot right here at 1990.6. So I know that that's where I'm going to find my maximum amount. But let's go to where we're starting to lose money again. So I'm going to keep scrolling. There is a faster way to do this on the graph, but I do want to show you in the table as well. So scroll. You can always go to your table set and make a guess as well. And then 400, that's where I'm going to start losing money. So anywhere greater than 400, that's where I'm going to start losing money. Because maybe I'm spending too much on labor, or I'm spending too much on rent space, or I'm spending too much on I'm buying more supplies, etc. So where I will get profit, where I'll gain profit, gain some money, is anywhere from 51, because 50 is that where I'm not going to get anything, to 399. So anything in between there, I'll gain. And then, so that's losing money, that's gaining money. And then this is called breaking even. That's going to be at 50 and at 400. And we'll get more into that in a minute. All right. So then number 4 says, what's the number of turkey legs that'll make the most money for you? So what's that max profit? So again, we could use the table and scroll back up, or we could find the maximum in the graph. So if we go to our graph, we can find this point by doing second trace number 4, and then make sure you put your cursor on the left because it says left bound right here in black. Press enter. It's going to make a nice line. Then go to the right of your maximum, press enter, and then do it one more time. And then it makes the guess. So it's sitting here, and we're going to round that to 225 turkey legs. So 225 turkey legs gives a profit of, I can't remember, it was 19 something. Let me go back to my calculator. 1990,625. Okay, so 1990, and then we'll do 6.3. We'll make it 63 cents. Okay. So we found that by looking at the maximum on the graph, but you can also do it in the table as well. So if you went to second table and you wanted to scroll, you're just going to try to find that point where it reaches that highest peak and then where it starts going back down. So the turning point of the graph. And so we're going to find that. I don't want to go too fast and scroll past it. So there's that 1990.6. And there's the 225. So that's kind of like the apex, like the top, the turning point of that. So 225. Okay. So if the booth wants to make at least $1,000, approximately how many turkey legs does the stand need to sell? So I want to make $1,000. Easiest way to do that in the calculator is you go to your y equals, you type in 1,000, then you graph it. And then you see, so the red line is the $1,000 mark. So we have 2 points to where we can make $1,000. So we want to find that intersection. So second trace number 5. And then we're going to want to get the cursor as close to the intersection as possible. So enter, enter, enter. And we get 101.5. So we're going to have to kind of round that because we can't sell part of a turkey leg. So let's go ahead and just say 102. So 102 makes, and we'll say about $1,000. And then we have another one. Oh, and guys, you can download this TI-84 for free. So Texas Instruments is giving this away for 6 months. So I just went to Texas Instruments TI-84, downloaded it on my computer, and then I have it for 6 months for free. So if anybody wants this, if you don't have a calculator, it's free. So second trace 5, and let me move my cursor. You can also use Desmos if you wanted to as well. And then we get 348.5. If I say 349, I'm going to go down 1,000. So I'm going to say 348. So 348 makes about 1,000. Okay. So just showing you on the calculator how you can find those pieces of information. Next year in Math 2, you'll actually figure out how to solve this. So you would plug in 1,000 and set it equal. Actually, I mean, we could do it by hand if we wanted, but you would use the quadratic formula. So you would do 1,000 equals 6, what was it? Negative 0.65 squared. And then 29.25 minus 1,300. Or was it plus? Whatever it was, yeah, plus. And then you could subtract the 1,000 to the other side, and then you would use the quadratic formula. So you actually can do this by hand, but this year in Math 1, we did functions to where you would be able to do them. You'd be able to solve them by hand instead of having to use the formula. So you'll do this next year. All right. The next part of the problem, I'm going to zoom this out a little bit so we can see the graph a little bit better. The graph shows below the turkey leg booth, but on a rainy day. So the one above was just for a regular day. But since not many people attend the state fair when it's raining, the turkey leg booth doesn't get the same amount of business. So we're going to compare the graph with the information that you gathered on a typical day. What similarities and differences do you notice? Be sure to compare the maximum profit and the number of turkey legs needed. So here, it looks like I start breaking even at 20. So maybe I have less people working for me on a rainy day, so I don't have to pay as many people to work. So then because there's less people buying turkey legs, I don't have to have as many employees. So therefore I can make my profit a little faster. So if you remember the last one, the break-even point was at 50. Well, now the break-even point is at 20. So once I sell 20 turkey legs, I start making profit. But I also start losing profit. This is another break even. I also start losing profit a lot faster. So at 200 turkey legs, I'm actually going to be negative, where earlier 225 is what gave me my max profit. So as you can see, this one's growing much slower. So your maximum's not going to be as high because I think what was the dollar amount, like $1,900? This is only at $600. So this one's growing a lot slower and a lot lower down here. Okay. So some similarities and differences. So increasing profit for non-rainy day goes from 0 turkey legs to 50. Actually, no. I'm sorry, to 225. Excuse me. But for rainy days, it's from 0 to, it starts turning around at 110 turkey legs. And if you want to draw this table for yourself, you can. So decreasing profits starts turning around at 225. So once I sell 226, that's where I start losing money. And then to infinity, but I mean, you're not going to sell infinite amount of turkey legs. So we can do 200 because you don't want to start losing money when you're selling too many things. Oh, excuse me. Oops. 111 to 200. The other one, I'm sorry, that should be 400 for the non-rainy day. So the max profit was 1990.63, and this one was 607.5. So you're making a little less than a third of your money on a rainy day. So the number of turkey legs need to break to sell even. So on a non-rainy day, 50 and 400. So those are your 2 break-even points. On a rainy day, it's 20 and 200. And the number of turkey legs needed to make max profit, this one was 225. And I guess right here, the 225 would be not increasing because it's like a turning point. So actually, I'm going to fix that. So it should be, I guess, 224 because 225 is your turning point. So if you remember back when we were doing functions, you can't include this turning point as part of your increase. You can make it an open point. So like you could go like this, 0 to 225, but you can't include it, right? And then you're decreasing. So this would be increasing. So then your decreasing would have been 225 to 400. And you could go like that. So if you want to write an interval notation, you can as well. So this is just another way to write it. And the number of turkey legs needed to make max profit for a rainy day is 110. So let me change this to be 109 because again, 110 is your turning point, it's your max profit. All right. So discuss what P of 100 means in context of each day, rainy or not. Which day will the stand make higher profit? So P of 100, because that stands for your T, this is your turkey legs at 100 turkey legs. So all you got to do is just plug it in. So I'm going to go into my calculator and I'm going to go to my table and I'm going to find 100 turkey legs because that's going to just be the easiest instead of me having to do all the math work. But you totally can solve it by hand too. So, and if you wanted to jump to 100, so you can always, again, do the second table set and you can always just do 100 and then it jumps right to it. We were right there, but just want to show you. So $975. So this is the non-rainy day. $975. But if I want to do 100, I don't know what this number is here. So, I could kind of guess. I'm not sure if this worksheet wants me to find the exact one. Actually, give me a quick second because I don't have an equation for this. I can make an equation in the graph. I'll show you how to make it. It's not that hard. All right, so we're going to go to, I'm going to clear my calculator. So second plus 7, 1, 2. All right, so clear my memory. So I'm going to go to stat, edit, and I'm going to enter in these points. So 20 and 0 is an ordered pair. Let me scoot it over. 0. Okay, 110 and 6075. Again, I'm not sure if they're looking for exact, but I'll go ahead and show you how to do this because it's not that bad. And then you type in your third point, which was that other point, 200 and 0. So 200 and then 0. Okay. And then what your calculator can do is your calculator can create the equation for you. So then you do stat, calc. You're going to go to quadratic regression line, which is number 5. And then you're choosing your information from list 1 and list 2. You don't need a frequency list, so don't worry about that. If you want to store it into your y equals, you can. So I'm going to store it into my y equals. I'm going to go to it's variable, so vars, my y variables, and my function, which is my y1. And then I'm going to press calculate. So there's my function for that equation. And then what I just did was I copy and pasted it into my y equals by doing that vars, y vars stuff. And then it put it in here. So then if I go to my table, I can then find my 100th turkey leg if I needed to. You could also just type it into the equation as well. But there wasn't an equation, so we had to make it. Just kidding. So then I'm going to jump. So second table set, I'm going to jump to my 100th turkey leg and enter. And then I'm going to go back to my table. And then there you go. So I make $600 if I sell 100 turkey legs for a rainy day. So a rainy day, I'll make $600. Okay. All right. So discuss what P of T is greater than 500 means in context of each day, rainy or not. What values of T will this be true for each day? So where do you want? And so this is meaning my profit is greater than 500. So my profit is greater than $500. So what they want us finding is, we can look at the two different graphs. So here's my non-rainy day, right? I'm starting off lower, but I'm growing faster. So that's my non-rainy day. And then my rainy day is starting off less, but I'm growing slower, like that. Okay. So we're going to look at both of those graphs in the graphing calculator, and we're going to look at when it's 500, when it crosses with $500. So if we put $500 here and we put $500 here, so we want to know when will it cross at those two sections here. So again, you can use Desmos, which is actually a lot easier, but most of you guys have calculators, so I do want to show you in the calculator. So I already have the second function, and it's going to graph it in blue. So let's take a look and make sure we can still see it. Nope, because I changed the window because I reset my calculator. So let me type in the other equation, and then we'll change our window so we can see it. So negative 0.065. Oh, no. Oh, dear, Emily. Give me 1 second because I am now rewriting on top of this, and I should not have done that. Okay. So let me go back to stat, calc, number 5. Sorry about that. I wasn't paying attention. I need to store this into my y equals, but now you get to see it again. Vars, y vars, store it, enter. Okay, so now that's in my y equals, and then I'm going to scroll down this time, and I'm going to put my other equation, the negative 0.065, x squared plus 29.25 x minus 1300. Again, this calculator is free and downloadable. You can always use Desmos as well, but I would suggest also doing this so that you get used to using the calculator as well. So if we graph these, we're not going to be able to see them because our window's too small, so we need to change our window. So remember, our non-rainy day 400 was what got us to our break even. And then the most profit that we made, so we need to go down about $1,500 because negative 1,300 was our lowest. And our most profit was $1,900. So let's go to $2,200. We should be able to see both. Okay, so as you can see, the blue one is the rainy day and the red one is the regular day. So I like being able to see both of these at the same time because it gives us a nice picture of what's going on. So then now that we can compare those two things, we want to find at 500. So now I'm going to go back to my y equals, and I'm going to draw a third line. So it's going to be black, and I'm going to make it 500. And we're going to find, so right there, we've got 500 crossing there. So then I'm going to do second, and I can't tell. So I'm going to turn my red one off. So you can actually turn graphs off if you want to only look at one at a time. So I'm going to turn this blue one off by scrolling over to the equal sign and pressing enter. And then when I graph it, watch, the blue one will not show up. So only the red one shows up now. So I can focus just on the red one. So second, trace 5, and I'm going to get close to the intersection. And enter, enter, enter. And I get 73.6, and that gives you about 500. So we'll say for the non-rainy day, it's about 76 turkey legs. Oh, excuse me, 74. So we'll say 74 turkey legs. But then there's also the other direction. So we need to, so second, trace 5, and then we need to move the cursor all the way on the other section. Oh, and I found that if I just hold my mouse down, it goes much faster than me having to press the button over and over again. 376.4 gives us about 500, so 376. All right, and then for my rainy day, so now I'm going to turn my red one off and turn my blue one back on. And again, you guys can do this if you go to your y equals, turn my blue one back on. So you go over to the equal sign, you press enter, and then go down to the red one and press enter. So now the cursor isn't black anymore. So it means the red one's off and the blue one's on. So now I can find those intersections. So second, trace 5, and then I've got to move my cursor as close to the intersection that I want as possible. Enter, 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 and I get 72, gives me about 500. 72.1, so actually we'd have to do 73, because 72 would give us like $499. And then we'll do it one more time. So second, trace 5, and then get as close to your intersection as possible. And we get 147.85, but if we do 148, it's going to get us less than $500, so we'll do 147. All right. So then let's go back and read the question. So the vendor believes that you will always make higher profit when it's not raining if you sell the same number of turkey legs. Do you think this is true? Well, I mean, this proves to you right here that if I sell 73 on a rainy day, I'll make $500 before I make, oh wait, this one, I'm sorry guys. These answers go up to number 9. Boop, 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 boop. Sorry about that. All right, so those are when you make the 500. So number 9 says you'll always make more profit on a non-rainy day. And that's not true. So let's take a look back at the graph. So I'm going to turn my red one back on. And then I don't need the 500 anymore because I'm not dealing with that question anymore. So as you can see, the blue one, once I sell more than 20, so from 20 to this intersection here, so we can find that. So second trace 5, and then let's go to the intersection of where they're the same amount. Enter, enter, enter. So about 74 turkey legs. So from 20 to 74 turkey legs, you actually make more on a rainy day. So if we go again back here, see the blue and see how it's higher than the red in this section right here? That means you're making more profit during that section. But once you reach 74, that's where you start making more profit with your non-rainy day. Okay? So from 20 to 74, you'll make more on a rainy day. And that's all that I have for today. I know it seemed a little jumbled and I apologize for that, but if you do have any questions, please let me know. If there are any mistakes that you're finding, also let me know. And then you can always contact your teacher, Ms. Hooks, Ms. Ruff, or Ms. Garwood if you have any further questions. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I will see you later.